Time for a weekly update from the Arcade Radio Network. Coming to you, taped from a bunker in northern Stockholm.
So we're entering week 50. That's great. It's the second week of Christmas here in Sweden, I can tell you. So what's going on? Well, first of all, look at my new cap. I got that in a package that I bought from, the Datormagazin Retro project. And this is Datormagazin Retro. Yep, it's a newspaper here in Sweden that comes out normally once per year or whenever they can manage to get a number out. It's an Amiga retro magazine with Amiga, Commodore 64, maybe some Atari and stuff. I am not entirely sure here. But a really cool thing, and I'm not sponsored by them. I just like it very much. I would recommend you to Google for it if you're here in Sweden. It's really a nice thing, good articles and stuff. And this is a newspaper where you can say that, I read it for the articles without being ashamed. All right, I'm going to take off the hat right now. Or maybe it's a cap, more like it, actually. Anyway, what's happening with the station, you might ask. I'm going to turn that off. I don't want to see myself. 93 new songs covering the K, L, and M, titles, so to speak, yeah? Nice. So you have something new to listen to. And I hope to be able to put even more songs in this coming week. All right, on Monday I fixed some power management issues with something called auto-cpufreq, which is a Linux tool that you can get for Ubuntu and Debian derivatives, and probably all other Linux flavors as well. And that is a software that throttles the CPU so that it doesn't run as hot. I got it down from about 70 to 80 degrees Celsius, which is that's very hot, to, now it's 50 to 60 degrees. It's running a whole lot more silent and cooler, and everything runs pretty much as fast. So that's a good thing. It's actually meant for laptop computers, but it works fine for servers if you are not very sensitive to needing heavy workload capacity instantly. But it works for me, and the station is up. Well, the YouTube background thing I spoke about last week, I have not been able to fix that. I haven't found the time, but it will be done. So, there we are. And I have taken a decision as well. The shoutcast thing on the radio web page, that will remain. That will continue as per usual. So will Twitch TV and YouTube. But I will remove Facebook as a streaming channel. That is, the Facebook group will remain. That will be still there, so don't worry, it's going nowhere. But Facebook has a streaming capability, which, honestly put, is not that good. So I'm removing that. I don't think anyone really cares. But you get to keep, as I said, YouTube, Twitch, and a web page with a shoutcast stream. So don't worry. All right, everything has been running pretty well. I had some minor glitches with the YouTube streaming, and this has nothing to do with how it works here. It's actually something that is a bit problematic with Streamlabs, the service you use to, simulcast. This mean minor glitches. It was one on Friday, and a minor one today. I also want to make a little bit of a shout out to TimeWalker for adding the station to Open Radio Browser. And I, myself, added the station to Frontier Smart Tech. That is the catalog behind many of those internet radios, like the Argon Radio3i and such IoT devices. So that's the news. And Downtime? Not really, no. Except the YouTube thing that I had just reported there. We have had no downtime whatsoever. It's been running fine. Okay, some errata, that is errors in things I said. No, I don't. But the overseer, the guy who, made the background picture for YouTube, he actually sent me the links that I can find the original, because he never drew it. He just, made it available with some nice decorations and improved it a bit there. So that's the thing. All right, well, we have some questions that I have assembled from Discord, from YouTube, from email, from people asking me, and, anyone, I will not say who said what, but you know who you are. Okay, so the first question is, can I see the artist? Yeah, that's a good question. As you know, it can say something like Amiga, and then a dash, and then the song title. And I have to explain this a little bit. The short answer is, at this time, no. For an example, the song title can be something like A New Jack. And the real song title from the module itself is A New Jack Thing. That's a real Amiga module. So that we can probably get out from the mod file. Today, the song title is taken from the file name, which is so-so. It's not perfect, but it works, I guess. So that's a bit of a problem. But the artist is very hard to get, and the reason is there is no artist field in a module. Thing is, the only thing you could type in is naming each of the instruments. And generally, if you had something like a number of samples, you could have like the first sampling was called trumpet, the second one was guitar, the third one was piano. And a lot of people did actually put their names there instead, because it was the only way to get that information in. So the instrument can read like, I don't know, written by this guy from this group on this year. But there's no consistency in this. Sometimes that information is missing. Sometimes that can be on, I don't know, the 20th instrument. So that's like long down this list. And this means trying to programmatically get this information out when you don't know what it looks like. You don't know what part of this text it could be greetings and whatever, that it actually is the name. It means that I will probably have to get the artist field manually, and we're very close to 1,000 songs in the repository. Pretty obviously, it's gonna be quite tedious. Also, I have no way of reaching the database in the receiving system, the Play It Live broadcast automation system. This means that I cannot update it by a script. So at this time I have no solution, but I hope to fix it. So sorry, the short answer, as I said, was no, you cannot see the artist. I hope I have a solution for it, but at this time I cannot help this, okay? Then the other question is, what clients work most? Most of your VLC or Kodai or whatever works. Here's a little list that shows which clients that was used during Friday, that is a few days ago. And you can see a little bit of a list of what people are actually using. It doesn't say how many of each, but yeah, that's the uniqueness. And you can probably figure out which is which. As you can see, people are still using Winamp, and OKHTTP is most likely actually the most common Android clients that use that engine, so to speak. And curl, I think that's kind of cool. Who's running curl? Are they trying to record the station to disk? I don't know. I like that. All right. Next question. Why does the messages come so early in each hour? Well, each hour restarts the program. You know, when Nicole says, here's another hour of Amiga music. Well, the jingles and the messages, the first time they are heard every hour, that's after 2 songs, not 3 as you'd expect, because every other jingle has to wait 3 songs until they play. And this is normal. This is how it's supposed to work. This is a thing I tested, because if you don't put the messages very early, they might be skewed in a way that they play too late, because Amiga songs are seldom guaranteed to be 3 or 4 minutes. You can have them as long as like 10 to 15 minutes. And what I'm trying to do is to shorten some songs down to make this more predictable. Once that's been done, I will be able to fix the track groups that you have 3 jingles before every message. But at this time, it's how it needs to be. And I'm almost done here. So just a few events done, or yeah, well, one event. phone data is coming. I have been speaking about that. It's actually the 19th of December. Sounds like a while, but actually it's not that much time left until that. If I look here on my calendar, it's next week on Sunday. And you can go to Twitch TV/phone data, and you can listen at 1600 hours GMT +1, which is Central European time, not respecting daylight savings because we're not doing that this time of year. All right, I wish to thank you very much for listening, and well, we'll see you next week.
Time for some questionable wisdom from your host, Damon.
Back in the day, it was Amiga versus Atari. Then it was PC versus Mac. And now, it's iPhone versus Android. War never changes.